Been slacking on the holidays. I haven't been working out because I haven't been feeling very good. So I haven't been making any videos. So I gotta start over, I guess. I should have just got up and made them every day, but I didn't feel good. Sometimes it's just best to rest. But now the holiday bullshit is over and get back to work. What's important? Martial arts training. It's pretty obvious to see my Chinese Kempo is fairly well a based Wingchun system. It's not a traditional system. I don't make a big emphasis on the forms. As far as I'm concerned, the forms are just exercises. And they have, yeah, they're good teachers. Do I practice the forms a lot? No, not really. I've never thought forms were as important as just learning how to hit hard. And not just hit hard, but smash what you're hitting and not get hit while you're trying to hit someone. You know? I mean, really, you don't. I mean, there's a lot of people say, oh, you're going to eat one, blah, 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 on the way entry and that. But I don't want to sound like I'm a pussy and I don't want to get hit. But so there's people like me that can't fucking eat one on the way. At least not much of one. And I've had too many things broken in my face and stuff, and I probably couldn't eat one. It'd probably be pretty detrimental to me to get hit pretty hard by somebody. You know, so I'd rather avoid really eating one if possible, but I want to make fucking the other person eat mine. And it's gonna knock their fucking teeth out, break their fucking eye socket. I'm gonna target it, all around the eyes and the mouth, and then these hammer fists too, not just, these, and all that, all the shoving and forearms in the throat. And Wing Chun is a wonderful, violent, and aggressive martial art. It's not sipping tea in the fucking garden. Wing Chun is violence. Chinese Kempo should be very violent. That's why I say my Chinese Kempo I practice that my teacher Rudolph Sr. taught me. It's based Wing Chun. It's also based Western boxing, kickboxing, a little bit of savate. Because we had people over the years teach us that stuff. I'm not no Jet Kundo or any of that crap. Although, I respect it, though. I like Jet Kundo. I don't have a problem with it. I think there's a lot of Bruce Lee fanboy worshipers out there that worship it, that made it stupid. But Jet Kundo itself, I think it's pretty good. Got a lot of good ideas, but I mean, the fanboys types that worship Bruce Lee took it over and they turned it into canon, and it just, there's a lot of people that have discussed this, and I agree with them. Different Wingchun, different Chinese Kempo, different martial artists. Although I still love Bruce Lee. I'll never not. I'll always like him. I grew up with I was a child in the 70s. All right. I grew up with him. I was just a little tiny boy when he died, but it wouldn't be a few years later, a couple years later. After that, I was old enough to know what martial arts was, know what kung fu was, know what karate was, know what all that. And hell yeah, Bruce Lee was pretty damn important. So was Chuck Norris and all the great guys, great martial artists from back then. There was a lot of them. Actors and kickboxers, and I guess kickboxing was just in its emphasis beginning as a sport. PKA. Yeah, I liked all that stuff. I remember watching it, staying up late at night. They'd have kickboxing matches on you could watch, and they had kung fu theater every Saturday or Friday night that watched religiously. And Wingchun Chinese Kempo, or Chinese base kickboxing, which I guess they call it Sanshao now, or it's probably been called that for a long time, but that's pretty much what what they call it now. And it's good stuff, man. Sanshao's cool, because it's got the kickboxing and grappling together, and that's what I would do if I was a young dude and had an opportunity to practice that. Oh boy, that'd teach you a lot of good stuff. And you're probably not going to get killed doing it. Like, say you just want to learn and experience what what a guy that wants to knock you off the platform, and you want to stop him. He's going to kick and punch you or wrestle you or shove you off a platform. But it's better than MMA, because I think there's probably less likelihood of getting fucking killed. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know how safe starting off MMA programs are for kids versus a Sanshao program. But from both would be good, either one. That just depends on who the coaches are, and whether they got fucking brains or not. Because you don't. I mean, these are rough sports, but you don't want people getting killed. Is what I'm trying to say, or injured bad. I don't know which one would be better for kids starting out. I think probably something more like but I'm also biased towards the Chinese martial arts. But I'm saying something like that, like wushu, because you're both would learn forms and shit, and you'd learn to jump around and tumble and all that crazy stuff, and you learn how to kickbox and wrestle, and you essentially learn kickboxing and judo together, because you learn wrestling moves and you learn how to kick and punch. So that's fairly realistic there, and you're learning all these forms, and as you know, all the fighting moves are in the forms, even though forms are just flashy, fancy stuff. Still has fighting moves in it. You can just smart person will decipher them and figure a lot of that stuff out for themselves. Then other people have be in fantasy land and think they, I don't know what some people think. The world's a crazy place. But what I think you'd really get from them Chinese martial arts, like something like that, is one, you'd get in really good shape, You learn how to kick and punch people for real when you're sparring and moving. You got your headgear on. You got all your protective stuff on, so you can't hurt each other too bad. And you're getting tagged. You're getting feeling what and when you get tagged good, when you feel, oh shit, I shouldn't have moved that way. You feel it, because it's like you put yourself right in a position. Oh, damn, I just got nailed good. And if I wouldn't have done that, if I'd have been here, I would have been able to deflect it or whatever. You start getting a feel for what it really feels like when someone's trying to kick you for real, rather than just practicing drills all the time and someone's kind of working with you a little bit. They ain't work when you start sparring. They ain't working with you no more, So when you make a mistake, it's your fault. So I think sparring's good. And kickboxing, and that's why I like the Sanshao, because it's kickboxing and wrestling together without a big emphasis on fighting on the ground all the time, like a lot of other stuff, which I personally don't think that's good. Not all, not that, not. I think your emphasis should be on how you can stay on your feet in case you need to run away or get the hell out of it place. When any art that's emphasis on all the time being on the ground, man, that's gonna, in reality, that's, if I knew somebody was a good ground fighter and say I was wanting to set this dude up to hurt him and some bad, like I was bad dudes, say like I'm a mafia dude, I know this dude's, okay, let's go get this dude. I'd sucker him into going on the ground, and the moment he did, he'd get tangled up. I hold him up, and my other two guys come and kick the fucking shit out of him while I'm holding him on the ground. I mean, I like being on my feet, so I can, if I got to, I can run away. So I can get distance, get better weapons out if I need them. So I got time. I don't like getting pulled down or dragged down and have one arm held this way and this one, and then have someone over here hitting me with something or hitting me in the bottle. That's bad news, man. I want to get free and get loose from, get away. That's what I'm always thinking. I want to get away. I want room. I want room to get my weapon if I need to. Because if there's more than one fucking dude, my weapons are coming out. Hell, at my age and my health, be honest, man. If someone's trying to hurt me from step one, at my age, with my health, my weapons are likely coming out. Not unless it's like someone that's worse off than I am, that's like a stupid drunk or something that I just know they're nothing. They don't kick my adrenaline on. They don't kick my flow on. They don't scare me. Ain't no reason to hurt nobody that don't scare you. That's kind of how I take things like that. If someone don't scare me, all right, buddy. Chill out, man. It's gonna be okay. You all right? One of them things. Check on, make sure they're okay. But someone that really scares you and shit, it's different. Your adrenaline starts calling. It's like, oh shit, I gotta do shit, or this dude's gonna fucking plow me. I'm done. If this dude can do what he does. So, it is hard to know. Because you can be in an argument with someone and that kicks your adrenaline on. And really, you got to step back from that shit. Because, if it's some dude that and then normally maybe you have arguments with him or something, but you kind of like him, you got to step back from that and take a breath from that and let it cool down. Because that's just fucking ego. Got dudes' ego splintering up. And, you kind of got to think, hey, all right, man, dude, you're a cool dude. I like you. I'm sorry I let my ego fucking make me want to fucking win or something so bad that, I was going to get into something with you. But, you got to learn to step back from that. You got to learn to keep that fucking sword and that fucking knife in its sheath. Because, man, that fucking leaving you down a bad path. It is a lot better to be more peaceful than it is to be, like wanting the violence to happen or trying to make it happen. And it ain't good. If it happens and you got to defend yourself, it does, man. But don't make it happen. Try to, step back from it if possible. but don't give way too, because that's no good too. Because you don't want to back off. Like, because there's a lot of truth in what Wingchun says about always moving forward, always attacking. When when you're, even though I still believe in yielding and because there's sometimes you just get the hell out of the way. There's nothing else you can do but is use a yielding movement to give way to something that's far more powerful than you are. But that doesn't. But that that's kind of like I think it was like Wing Chun. That yielding comes right with sticking. It's like you give way to all that power, but you still stick with it, and maybe that power helps you get back into a good position where you can either attack or maybe you can use it on your side, because there's lots of like really cool spinning elbow techniques and stuff. I know because I do Chinese Kempo and we have lots of white crane in our practice. We have those forms and exercises, aspects, parts of them. There's a lot to that stuff, and it doesn't seem like any one person's form is the same. Because I've watched so many people practice them, and none of them look exactly the same. Everybody's body is different. I suppose that is a lot of it, but most of the core characteristics of the forms are there. The crane uses those pivoting movements, and and a lot of those finger strikes, and crane is it's more circular, but it's also very straight line too, very direct. I think a lot of sword arts where you're using longer swords, and it doesn't matter whether they're straight or saber type swords. A lot of that crane movement you can find in the sword work because you're always pivoting and turning and pivoting this way and using circular movement in your sword work. So, I use that movement in my Wing Chun. I don't care what other people do. This is my Wing Chun. I explore what in the direction I want with it. That's kind of what is fortunate of not really ever having one of the other standard lineages. Them guys seem to have a lot of problems. I don't seem to have that, and because I was always encouraged to learn as much Chinese martial arts as I could, learn as much any martial art, Filipino martial arts, Japanese martial arts, whatever. And you can get someone to teach you some stuff, and that person's good, learn it because it'll benefit you. Is it different than what you know? Like all teachers are different. Every teacher has a different teaching style. They think a little different. If you cannot get hung up on what you're like, say like with like my original teacher, if I still believe everything he told me, but if I am able to kind of look past that and kind of listen to what other people are saying and think for myself, and I can really improve my martial arts a lot over time. I add this little characteristic, know that could benefit your core style, whatever it is. It don't matter what it is, but any martial arts style, for it to be a good style martial art, in my opinion, must have weapons, must have, sorry about the middle finger, I am not telling anyone to fuck off or anything. It must have good striking, good fists, good hands. Got to have hands like a Wing Chun guy or hands like a boxer. If you can punch like Mike Tyson, good job. You're doing if you can kick and punch like that, or kick and punch like, say, like I like Rotang a lot. I'm a big Rotang fan. Even when he gets his ass kicked, the dude's still humble. and he don't get his ass kicked very often. And he's a good dude. I like him. I'm a fan of his. If you can kick and punch like that and have all the defensive man, that's good. Now you know what else you need. You need to be. I don't know if I said it, but you need to have some good grappling. Oh, Rotag, he's got really good grappling. He's getting more and more into like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style grappling, but his Muay Thai grappling is freaking excellent. I don't know if he does weapons or not. I imagine he probably does. He probably knows all kinds of stuff. I'm sure he concentrates on his kickboxing because that's what he makes a living at, or his Muay Thai and MMA fighting and all that. You know, if that's what you make a living at, that's what you're going to concentrate on. And he probably has weapons too. So that's right there. That's a really great martial artist, likely, because he has three things I really think that make martial arts great is being able to strike well, you know, kick and punch well, knees, elbows, be able to grapple well, whether standing or on the ground or whatever, and weapons, whether traditional or practical, because it doesn't matter, because most traditional weapons, even if you're just learning a traditional weapon style, they can be substituted for something else, a club or a stick or whatever. They're still practical, as far as I'm concerned. If you train like, say, like you train in Japanese kenjutsu or something, one of the traditional styles, and you're always out there working and slashing that stick, you're boking and practicing that, man, that's building you up, making you strong. You'll be able, you know, someone tries to do something, hell, you might just crack them like that, just out of, you know, from doing this all the time, you know, and how before you know it, boom, boom, oh crap, I just knocked the crap out of that dude hitting him. I didn't practice hitting nobody, but I practiced with this stick over like that. Well, guess what? Guess what? When you're practicing this, guess what that is, too? It's not far from that, man. That motion. That if you bring your hands up like this, oh shit, like someone's trying to hit you in the face. And you bring your hands up, and then you bring them down, you know, hit someone in the face. You know, you protected yourself, and you hit someone in the face just from that movement. So I don't know, you know, I kind of, that's something I learned from, because I like Japanese martial arts and I like doing the weapons. I'm like, well, crap, that's like my Wingchun, you know? It's like someone tries to hit me, and it's like, oh shit, I block, bam! You know, I hit him, crack, hit him in the eye here, hit him in the temple here, or something, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter where you hit him. You can wide the hand him in the throat after doing that, like this, or whatever. But them hands come up to, you know, to protect you from getting hit here, getting hit in your neck, getting your jaw busted and knocked out. They're coming up. You know, and I thought that was kind of weird because I kind of realized that while I'm swinging my wooden sword for practicing Japanese martial arts. You know, all martial arts are related to one another, and they all will benefit you. You know, if you're a Wing Chun person, take Aikido. If you're really, really good at your Wing Chun, try something else. You know, learn something different. If you got your Wing Chun down to where you're just toot, 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 you know, and you have these blinding fast hands that, why not, hey, give Aikido a try. Give whatever, Daitu or one of those arts, or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Try something different. Try some wrestling. You know, if you're athletic and your health allows you to do it, give it a try. If you're old and kind of, you know, just beginning on a decline, I started doing more and more Wing Chun and more of my Chinese martial arts, because I still practice a lot of them. I practice the forms, and they help me. And they're more of a benefit to, you know, keeping my body moving and keeping me up and going, just as much as they are, you know, practicing, you know, practical self-defense from them. So that's why I try to get up every morning and I start warming up with like this. Start hitting my rope. And anybody can do this. So all you need is a rope. You got a little moving target. You can practice your Wingchun, you can practice your boxing, you can practice your karate, whatever. You can practice, I don't really know karate that well. I know how to punch like that a little bit, like they do, but I normally don't do that. Normally all my punches come from here or just wherever. My hands could be down and I'll crack, crack. And I practice them like that sometimes. Like if you're surprised and all of a sudden you gotta crack somebody. Oh, crack! Crack, crack. Elbow. Yeah, this, what else you can do? I think I was doing this earlier. You can swing this and you practice those, where you pock somebody's fist into your elbows. Use a slap box, do one of them destructions. Shit like that, actually, it works, man. Because and if anything, if nothing else, you're still getting your hands up here, and you're learning. Hey, if a fist or something's coming at you quickly, you really don't know what's in it. So, why not? You bring these bad boys up because these things hurt when you punch them or someone hits you. If someone's not used to kind of like hitting and like we work on our wooden dummies and it kind of gets us used to, like, if we have an accident and you smack, okay, well, I'm going to keep going. It hurts, but I'm going to keep going. Where, like, if you could do one of those pox and do one of them destructions and get their hand to go into that just right, they're not going to want to throw that hand too much anymore if you do it. If you're successful at it. So, why not? I think it's a good technique. I use my elbows constantly. I practice with them. Practice punching this thing. And of course I have my little bag too. And I made a half-hour video instead of making a bunch of 10-minute ones. And I like talking too, kind of. Yeah, you can practice that X block. Yeah, that's why I always put Chinese Kempo on my videos, because if I put Wingchun on it, then all the Wingchun trolls will come out. Rah, you need to do this. It's like, man, some of these people are like freaking retards, man. God, just leave people alone. Let them practice. I read the comments and stuff all the time. People pretty encouraging with my stuff. I don't really care what anyone thinks anyhow. I've been training longer than most of these people's fucking sifus have, and I actually worked like doing security and stuff like that, and done jobs like that where you had to use different martial arts like Wing Chun and Judo, which, by the way, work very well together. I like Judo a lot, but I like Wing Chun better. I like Wing Chun a lot too because I like how it uses the hands, how the punches and the elbows and the knees and the kicks and and like I said, you add kickboxing to it and you get more kicks. You know, I know a lot of the Wingchun purists, they don't like those kicks. Blah blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. You get out and where you can circle around and shit, you'll like them kicks. But if you're stuck in a little hallway where you can't move, where only straight things can come in at you from a straight line, oh, you'll love Wing Chun, man. Wing Chun rules supreme, man. Either Wing Chun or Jiu Jitsu will, and largely, I think Wing Chun would probably do better. And just all of a sudden that it's on, and it's boom, 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 and it's going on, and that Wing Chun person's really, really good, and they land their strikes. You know, I don't know, man. Not to mention they use knives and stuff. I know people like to argue over this stuff, but I'm creating like a scenario like you're in you got like a small bricked hallway. Like the perfect scenario is that one there's I hate to say a movie, but they had this little hallway, long brick hallways, because I or what do you call it, an alleyway, where there's not much room to move. There's really two arts that are really going to do really well in that. Well, actually, three that really do really well. I think Muay Thai would obviously do well. The various different jujitsu styles would probably do well, and I think Wing Chun would do well. But you know what? A lot of karate arts really have really good grappling and close quarters stuff too, though. I don't know. It's hard to say. They're all pretty good. You know, Wing Chun definitely is really good in close and tight. It's really hard to say. And I mean, I know there's all the hype, and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is the art that everyone loves now. But really, a lot of people have started not to love it as much because they start to see its limitations. I mean, it's a great sport, and it's MMA is awesome, and it definitely, if you're in law enforcement where you need to be able to take someone down, choke them out, put them in an arm bar, um, tie them up, handcuff them, and that you have to have knowledge of wrestling and grappling. And jiu-jitsu is probably the best source there is, the jiu-jitsu arts, because obviously Wing Chun puts all its effort into that, and most of the teachers I come across don't even really know any chin knot techniques. Some do. Now some I see do use them. Now my teacher always did. My teacher would tie you up in a damn knot with his damn Wing Chun while he was smacking the crap out of you and hitting you and tying you up, bending your wrists and joints all up, and it wasn't a fun experience. And he'd choke you too. He'd do shit like grab your shirt and pull it across your throat. And he did judo too, so he probably got that from because that Wing Chun don't really do a lot of chokes or nothing that I've ever seen too many people do, other than people that maybe had done both Wing Chun and judo, like my teacher. Yeah, shit. There's a lot of good moves like that you could like pulling someone's shirt up over their head and crap like that, and tying them up. I've used the leg grabs. Well, judo don't have leg grabs in it. I mean, it does in its katas. There's leg grabs in different katas, but in competition they don't let you do leg grabs. So I don't know. I practice leg grabs in my martial arts training because I've used them on people, and I think I don't know if I learned. Yeah, you know what? I did. I used them on people in high school, and I took them down with them. So I probably learned it from wrestling too, because really, in judo practice, probably didn't. Other than kata, you probably probably didn't do a whole lot of, probably always work on saying agi all the time, doing or a hip throw or over the shoulder throw more, or doing, different reaps more than I remember really practicing leg grabs, other than when you're maybe practicing defenses against kicks. But that could just as well, those could come right out of the Chinese. All kinds of Chinese styles do that, have defenses of kicks that are very similar to the same thing they teach in judo. Because I mean, how there's only so many ways to defend against. Where they go like that and they catch it, and then you reap the other leg out. Almost all styles have something like that. I've seen Chinese styles do it. I've seen Korean styles. They all do it. You know, I've seen judo kata that they practice similar thing. That they do that. You lean off, you catch the kick here, and then there's the one like that too, where you twist the leg, yank the other leg, step back and yank that down. I guess that's a leg grab because yeah, you're going to use leg grabs as defenses against kicks. I mean, I wonder in Muay Thai do they kick the standing leg, or are they only allowed to reap and sweep it out? I know they're not like allowed to take any more than one step, which that's probably a good thing because if you were to take two or three steps, you could probably launch somebody out of the ring. That's probably why I'd imagine. Because that reduce on how much power. I mean, them techniques have a lot of power in them. I mean, look how much power Aikido techniques have. And I know people say Aikido's fake; it's two cooperating people, but nonetheless, you have to admit them techniques have a lot of. If you've ever done the art and you felt how powerful them techniques are, and you've learned well enough how to break, fall, and roll with them to where you're taking that energy and not being crushed by it. When you hit the floor, you're just rolling off and rolling away. But if you didn't do that correctly, and that person just was going to bam, like one technique I can think of in Aikido that could really be nasty is Shihunagi. And people that know who the four direction takedown, the one where it's like this, oh man, where you take the arm around like this, bent, and like the other person would be here, their body, and you get that locked up, and you just go straight down, boom. Oh boy, that just destroy the shoulder and elbow joint. Not to mention how bad you'd land from it, like on the back of your head. It'd be bad, all bad. You know, yeah, that technique could definitely put a hurt into someone. You know, a lot of people think that stuff's fake though, but it's not. Aiki Jiu-Jitsu is not fake. Neither is, I mean, a lot of stuff, maybe some aspects of like Tai Chi, and there's a lot of people that are fake out there with it because they don't really understand that they have really, really, really good internal energy. You have to have really, really good external. One goes hand in hand. It means that you've been a strong athlete, of a person that can do extremely hard physical work, and then from that you built yourself up to where now you're learning the soft elements of the art, where you learn more about how you're structured and how your body moves, and that you don't have to just rely on just pure brute muscle. That person that has both becomes very extremely powerful. I don't know. I'm of the opinion the internal and the external martial arts go hand in hand with one another. Other people have different opinions on it. Some say you only need to do soft exercises. I think you need to do both. But I think there should be a big emphasis on soft exercises. And what I mean by soft exercises is having excellent cardiovascular fitness and excellent flexibility. But it's really important to be good at real hard exercises too. And what I mean by that is being able to lift very, very heavy things and push them up over your head, pick them like that cleave and where they, I forget what the exercise is, and I think that's good. And there's other aspect to hard training too, is being able to hardening yourself to where it doesn't really hurt you that bad to be hit or kicked, to where you can take it a lot better. That's another expecting to external training, because you're building your body up, your strength, your, I suppose the agility and all of that could be external, but the I suppose the internal training would be doing repetitious things over again, until where you don't think about them, like you learn your strikes, and you just practice them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Boom, boom. You know. Until you don't really think about them at all, and that's the internal training too. That's they call it muscle memory, but I don't really think it's muscle memory. I think you're actually building stuff inside your head, but at the same time you're conditioning yourself. You're building stronger muscles. You're building um, better cardiovascular fitness, and you're building more power. To the ability to be able to project more power. By practicing, your technique gets better. What is technique? It's a method of how you do something, and as you practice it, you know, the first time you done it, maybe you don't do it that well. 10th time you get better. 100th time you get better. By the thousandth, by the 100,000th, by the millionth, just the repetitious action and work begins to be your teacher, because you're going to get bored of doing this stuff over and over and over again, and you're going to start thinking about it. At least I do. I can't do the zen pure mind, never think about shit. I like to think about shit, and I do. And what makes my strike better? What makes it better? One, I'm rooted to the ground. Boom. I'm solid. I'm solid and immovable. When I'm cracking into them, I'm moving them. When I ram my forearms into someone's body or whatever or anything, I'm moving them. I've knocked great big guys down that were a lot bigger than me, shoving and pushing them down. They're stronger than me and bigger, but I understood leverage and I understood where to push on them. So it has nothing to do with me being so great or anything, or being such as I understood something that they didn't. Once they understood it, I couldn't fucking do it to them no more, because they're bigger and stronger than me. It's not so easy to move them, but you know what? People are grateful when you usually are pretty grateful for when you teach them something like that, because they couldn't understand, how a smaller dude like me could, push a bigger dude around, that, and they're like, oh, okay, now I see, see, because, you're shoving on me here, shoving on my arms here, or my arms are weak, or my balance is weak. They could have real strong legs and be real powerful, but they don't have good balance. So they're easy to shove down. Or they're making themselves strong in the wrong place. I'm putting my arms on them up here and shoving on them, and they're making themselves up strong up here, which just makes this like all one unit up here. And when I shove on them, they're weak down here. They're not putting anything in here, and I feel that, and I'm able to push that energy through them. My pushing through them towards where I feel it being weak. And that's part of the lack of sensitivity in their part, because they're tensing up instead of feeling where's the force coming from, and maybe redirecting it. And once you start showing the big guys this stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, no shit, I get this, and then boom, they knock you across the room like nothing. Oh shit. But you know what? I'd rather teach some big dude like that if he's a good dude, because then he'll probably look after you, instead of just because I always kind of took it like, you'd be kind of concerned about training some people, because they might try to use it on you, and it's true. You might want to be cautious how much stuff you teach people. How much, especially if you have a lot of understanding. That's kind of why. I mean, maybe it might be kind of selfish, but it might be also kind of wise. Be cautious, because if you really do understand them martial arts, they do give you a considerable advantage. I mean, they don't give you anything special over hard physical training. If you do lots of hard physical training, that's the advantage of itself. But if you're an older martial artist that maybe has done hard physical training all his life, that now all of a sudden isn't so physical and so strong, now what do you look into your training and things? That what do you start thinking about? You start looking for easier ways to maybe knock someone down. That you don't have to rely on so much brute power and strength. You rely more on timing, leverage. You trick someone into attacking you, and you move out of the way, and they fall on their face. Which I've done that. I tricked this real big dude. He was a football player. He was coming to my house and stuff, and he was kind of a bullish dick. And I kind of did want to fight him. I wanted, but I mean, I can't fucking hurt people. I knew I could hurt this dude. I knew I could fucking knock his goddamn eyes out of his head and break his jaw, fucking hammer fist him in the neck until he didn't move anymore. And that's not nice, man. And I'd piss my old lady off if I did that to him. To no extent. Yeah. That's horrible to say that shit, but I mean, it would. Even though I kind of didn't like the dude and kind of would have kind of liked to have done that. But, alright, whatever. So, the dude, finally, we're drinking and shit. And finally, dude says something about my martial arts and said, nah, that's just about bullshit. What would you do? I'd run up to you and tackled you. And I go, I have no clue what the fuck I'd do, man. I'd probably get my ass kicked. What do you fucking think? You're so damn much bigger than me and shit. But I tell you what, I hit hard and shit, and I might hit you. I might hit or kick you, and you'd be sorry. He's like, yeah, you wouldn't get nothing, and I'd just plow you over, and you'd fucking blah. I'd get on top. You know what? I'm like, okay, whatever. Go ahead and fucking try it. Dude fucking did it, man. You know what I did? I used a fucking Aikido move. I fucking stepped out of the way. He fell on his face, and I stepped back. Oh, he goes, that was a good move. I go, yeah, dude, I don't really want to get plowed by you. I could move out of the way. Actually, I'd just fucking draw my fucking gun and shoot you. Because you're so big, you know? When we started talking about shit like that, and he didn't fucking try anything anymore on me that night. Because I outsmarted him, you know, and he knew it. Because he fucking fell on his face. He face planted. You know, he tried to attack because he thought he had me. And he did, because it's not like I was right next to him, right so close to him when I blended with him so close, you know. Yeah, that dude fell right on his face. You know, I could have kicked him or something or stomped on him because he was right there. I could have just started stomping on his head, but there's no need to do that. But of course, I thought that. It ran through my mind. Of course, I didn't do it. There's not a need to do that to someone. But you know what? It's good to know that I could have. And but I mean that's how people do anyways. They just try to tackle you, try to get you down on the ground, try to beat the hell out of you. Someone's a big football player, big wrestler. That's what they're gonna do. That's the way they think. I knew that too. I knew what he was gonna, because how I played football and wrestled and all that shit too. I knew what he was gonna think. I also done martial arts and boxed and did fought people, fight with sticks and crap and fake knives and mm, I've been wrestled down, knocked down, hit in the mouth, choked, and I've done the same to others over and over and over and over and over again, and I enjoy it. And we're not trying to kill each other. But you kind of get used to it. That's why like when that guy tried something on me, it was like, all right, whatever, buddy. Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, this dude was really a threat to me and stuff. All those horrible things would come out of me, like all them horrible strikes to the eyes and hammer fists to the jaws and to the temple, and that would happen. I just start breaking stuff on him, but my adrenaline wasn't pumping. I wasn't scared. I knew the dude was just a cocky, arrogant idiot that really, he thinks that everything that has to do with fighting is football. That it's just all about being the big, strong, blah, You know what I mean? That's important. I'm not gonna say people shouldn't, but you could run at someone that's small and they have a freaking knife like this. Try to tackle them. If they had something like this in their hand and you didn't see it, and they just start, what's all your big muscle and stuff matter? You know what's going to happen to that big muscled person? They're probably going to be going like this while that little person's, even a woman, start poking them. So I'm not, I'm being a great big strong dude don't make you impervious to fucking not dying. Being smart may increase your ability. So if you're fucking just a dumbass that thinks that brute force and strength is what gets everything done in the world, that kind of person could get took out by a fucking skinny little crackhead that's on, maybe gonna keel over at any moment. That's weak and pathetic. It's happened too, man. It's happened. I'm sad to say it happens, because it's not this, which I don't have any anymore. I still got a little, not much, but still a little there. It's not it's going to be this. If you got to be smart, I don't think just running at people like that, trying to, like what this person did. I don't think that was smart because I could have blasted him. He's a big guy, you know. I'm around. I go around 230, 240, and I'm 6 foot, so I'm not small. Um, and this dude's probably he's probably around same height as me, maybe a little taller, but he's a lot thicker. Just he's a football. He's a big, bulky football player, dude. You know, and he probably I imagine he probably had 40, 50 pounds on me. You know, I mean, and I don't know, brute forces don't always get it done. You know, sometimes it might not work out well for you. It's possible anyhow. And to say that it doesn't work is that's asinine too, because it does work. And at some point you're going to have to use it. You're going to have to, you know, unless you're just going to run away from a situation, which as far as I'm concerned, that's fine by me. But there can be situations that you can't run away from. Well, at some point, you know, just pure brutality is going to, you know, probably win the day in that. But then, you know, you can flow around someone's strength, though, because I suppose that's what you do with the knife. You know, some big son of a bitch was grabbed you by the waist and was um, slamming you into the wall, trying to kill you, break your back, knock the wind out of you, and you're up over him like this, and maybe you can grab onto his pants or something, and you got your blade. Why wouldn't you just start going like this in his kidneys and spine and stuff? That would stop them. They'd probably let go of you. At some point there's gonna be spinal reflex as soon as you hit something, and you can't tell me that something that's that long. If that was something like that was going into someone, you're gonna hit spinal reflex, and largely once that spinal reflex action gets hit, that person's fucked, man, because the person that just caused it, their instinct is just, hey, cause it, make that happen. You're winning. Make that happen again, over and over and over and over and over again, and they'll just won't. That's why people end up with 9 million stab holes in them, because the person that's using a knife, they're frantic. You know, they're. It could be the situation, and that person was in an absolute fear of their life, and they just overdid it. You know, it could be too that they're totally pissed and enraged and they just slaughtered the person too and stabbed them 1 million times. Oh God, I hate to even think about this shit. But I mean, yeah, I mean, jujitsu's got a lot to think about when it comes to the knife. I like seeing the guys that are grappling with their weapons and stuff. The people in law enforcement and the ones that like cross training, like Filipino martial arts and jujitsu. I like seeing that because then they'll be having something like this. I sure wish I was in good enough health to do that training, because I'd certainly do it. And they'll have something like this. They'll have a fake gun in one of these retention holsters, and they'll grapple over it. The one person will go for the gun, and they'll try to take the other person's gun away from them, and the other person is going to try to get them off them enough to where they can draw it and shoot them. And I think that's good. And I think I see some people doing that with like rubber knives and stuff, and they're adding that into their grappling. And yeah, I think that's really good, really good. Now I start seeing that in jiu-jitsu. I start having more respect for Brazilian jiu-jitsu as a martial art, and because it has to have that element in it, I think, or else it's a sport. Why do you want to let your martial art get turned into just a sport? Don't let that happen, because jiu-jitsu is awesome. It really is. Even though I kind of talk it down sometimes, I actually really do like the art. I like all the Japanese martial arts a lot. But, I think that you need to fight that tendency to want to turn your martial art into a martial sport. And it's fine to have sport and competition, and as a matter of fact, it needs it. It has to have it. But you don't want your martial art to just become a sport. You still need to have some of the old traditional weapons, you know. If it's Japanese, then, you know, have a Japanese sword, the Jo and the bow staff and all that stuff in it. Because all those, you know, those are kind of watered down generic weapons, training weapons, but they all represent traditional weapons. The bow is a spear, the, you know, the boken, of course, is a, you know, the sword. Those are all good to train. I think them guys would be very, very wise and very smart to train with all that stuff. If you do jujitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I recommend them guys all should probably try Aikido. You know, because that's, they, you know, and if they call Aikido bullshit, they're foolish because they don't understand it. They never give it a chance to look at it and see what it is. But it gives them a little bit of a glimpse in the samurai arts in a way that it's easier for modern people to understand, I think, and kind of turns it into more of a sport. All right, it's a sport and a pastime that you can use to keep yourself physically healthy, and you're swinging them weapons. You're getting used to how you swing them weapons, them wooden swords, or it's your clubs or sword or cutting. Now you're getting more used to how that thing's going to come at you for real, and you're studying jujitsu. What's jujitsu? Well, your weapon gets knocked out of your hand. Now you got to fight guys that got weapons and you don't. Now you really see what jujitsu's about. And now you got a big, big, hard time task to overcome is how am I going to survive this guy that's trying to kill me with a weapon? Rather than just trying to jujitsu fight jujitsu. You know, that's how I think all martial arts go downhill. I think that's how Wingchun went downhill. Wingchun only fights Wingchun. Jiu-Jitsu only fights Jiu-Jitsu. Taekwondo only fights Taekwondo. You know, what happens to art? It turns into like an echo chamber. There's not people from the outside, hey, yelling in, hey, what would happen if somebody did this? They ignore it. You know? I think that's probably harmful to your martial art or your development as a martial artist, in my opinion. But whatever. I've already got an hour on here, and I would go way over with this stuff. I do like talking about it, even though I don't know how people would think about what I talk about, or even would even care. Whatever. I hope this stuff, my talks like this, are helpful to other martial artists. You know. Probably should practice more and talk less. I'm not a good speaker. And I suppose this, I'm not going to learn how to talk well and make videos about martial arts or whatever unless I go, talk on here. So I might as well. Oh, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. This thing's gonna take all day to load up. Well, everyone, peace out, man. Think about some of the things I said. Hopefully I made sense, because I don't edit this. I just copy it, say whatever, and hopefully I don't make too much of a jackass of myself, and I just put it out there. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and wish everybody a happy new year, and hope you had a good holidays, and hope everything's going good for everyone. Peace. I'm out of here, man. I'm ending. I don't know how to end this shit. Let's say peace. Like, subscribe. Bye. See ya. Work harder at your martial arts.